bit of alpha. All right,
Oh boy.
SuperRare. Yeah. SuperRare to launch in real life NFT gallery for New York Fashion Week. So I've actually heard a whole lot of stuff is happening for New York Fashion Week. Like a lot of NFT projects are going to be there. And I think that's really cool because
Yeah.
I do think the more that NFTs are out there in real life events. So it's not just like NFT New York, which is only an NFT event. New York Fashion Week is a Web 2 event. It's going to be featuring Web 3s, and I'm really, really happy about that. I think it's bullish for the space. So SuperRare is known for being a very, very hard platform to get on. You've got to really show what you're doing. It's an art platform. Great artists are on there, Web3 artists. A lot of the ones that we hear about that launch secondary and other collections on OpenSea all started on either Foundation or SuperRare. So it is a good fit for New York Fashion Week. And I'll just tell you what they say here. With New York Fashion Week set to get underway, many organizations are choosing to tie in with Web3 elements to traditional shows and galleries. SuperRare, a leading NFT art marketplace, announced on Instagram 2 days ago that they will be joining the fun. Together with Gucci, it will launch a crypto art couture gallery in Soho, and here are the details. And it gives you, this is linked in the description if you are in that area and interested to go, from the 9th of September to the 14th. Oh, so it's actually finished 2 days ago. Sorry about that. I wonder how it went because I haven't seen anything since then.
I haven't either.
But yeah, I just think it's cool to see Web3 brands in the Web2 physical event space.
Yeah, and we're pretty much, for everyone who's watching, we're pretty much in a game of sit and wait, hurry up and wait mode until the world until NFTs are just chill and most people know about them and heard about them, participate. Until then, like, we're basically just riding on these short waves of like, oh, like this is super cool. Then it's like, okay, well now we're bored. Then it's like, oh, that's super cool. Then it's like, okay, now we're bored. And I think it's just gonna be a lot of that. So for people who have their expectations somewhere else, keep them low, because that's how it's going to be. I think until for a while, it's going to be these short pumps of like, oh, that's super sick, and then it fades a little bit, and people, it's the real issue is when people get too excited and then too down. The goal for this, until NFTs are a huge thing, the goal is to just let your bar here, put the bar in the middle, and then when you get really excited, stop getting excited like here, and then when you're here and it starts to go low, don't let yourself go below this. Like if you're hitting at a 7 out of 10 normally, don't ever get above a 10. Like try and stick in the 8 to 9 when you're really euphoric, and when you're really low, try not to go below a 5, because it's just going to come right back anyway, and we're just going to teeter in this area, and it might just be better for like your mental health.
I agree.
Yeah, because if you get too emotional, if you get too emotional, you're just gonna get fucked. And after you've been here if you've been here more than like 2 months, you see how the waves kind of work. You're like, oh, so like this happens, like everyone gets excited for a little bit, and then there's FUD, everyone gets really upset for a little bit, and then it just repeats over and over and over and over again.
For sure. And Ziggy, we agree completely. The issue is 100% macro. And obviously, when macro is so down, then risk on assets get heavily affected. And what is the biggest risk on asset? First of all, you got crypto, but even more so than Bitcoin and Ethereum, which are not altcoins, is NFTs, like more risky, right? So we're at the lowest totem pole. We know there's a whole lot going on. I mean, between Russia, China's economy's fucked, UK's economy's fucked, US economy's fucked, Australians, all the big players. The inflation
China
is
might
higher
be real
than ever.
fucked. I've heard China might be real fucked.
Yeah, China is real fucked. The only good thing going for China is that they can make up their own inflation numbers. So they came out yesterday or the day before. They said, "Oh, inflation has improved by 10%." It's like, no, it hasn't. You just say whatever you want. Right?
That stuff, dude. That stuff is crazy to me. How countries are able to keep their entire population not knowing what's really going on. Like the fact that that's possible at this stage of like the world is shocking. I'm like, so they actually think that this is what's happening. I mean, I know there's propaganda everywhere and everybody is a victim of some type of propaganda in every direction, but the fact that they literally don't have all the facts available, That is scary to me. Like the fact that their internet is controllable. You can't quite search up anything you want because they put limits on
for
it. That's
sure.
crazy.
But you know, it's really just an interesting thought is that we all, and I know you're saying it to some degree, but obviously not like a North Korea, but each one of us are in our own echo chambers,
Sure.
like in every way. If this, you know, first of all, anything we search is tailored. The next results that come in adverts are tailored to it. Your interest that you show on social media, that's what's fed to you. That's what you see. The school you went to, the upbringing you had, you only really mixed with the people from the same area just because geolocationally, that's where you were. So we all, to some lower degree, in that echo chamber, the same way that like whoever's been censored and only being fed certain information is. Obviously not to that extent, but to some way we are. Yeah. And then Ziggy's just agreeing with what you were saying, Kate, and adding to it, and I agree with what Ziggy's saying as well. A lot of people have been burnt in the space, you know, from the perspective of investing in new projects, thinking the team had good intentions, was going to do well, only to find out it didn't. So people are being more selective in what they invest in. And obviously, to add on to Ziggy's point, what he's not saying, which I'm sure he'll agree with, is that there's a lot less people active in the space. Like at the peak of it, we were seeing active users on OpenSea over 1 million. Now we're lucky to see 200,000 a month are active. You know, so, and that's wallets. So that's probably 50,000 people. Yeah. So we all frickin' selling our bags. And of those, how many people are actually even like doing more than a couple of transactions, like here or there, selling one or two things? How many guys are actually busy actively trading and buying and selling? Not many. So that also makes it.
It's literally just a few thousand people. And it's not even just the fact that people are evolving. I would argue that people aren't really evolving. They're going to make the exact same mistakes they made last time. I mean, I did it too. It took me like 3 cycles to really figure out, oh, fuck, I made the same mistake all 3 times here. And I think that's just how it is. And when the market returns and there's euphoria again, you will see the exact same people, because it happened, dude. Like I remember when I started making videos at the end of the summer, when the bull run returned and there was a fall, 2 or 3 pumps in the fall, 2 or 3 pumps in the winter, and then we crashed all the way down. Every single time we went bearish for a few weeks, I would make the exact same shit would happen. There'd be new people who enter the space. They make the exact same mistakes all over again. And so because we're in this echo chamber of just a few thousand people participating, it's these people that aren't going to make the same mistakes. But the issue is when new people enter this space, they all make the same mistakes we used to make. And that's why you can bet on the same things happening. That's why it's so predictable. When we're like, no, when the merge happens, ETH will crash, because we know that's how it works. Because all the retail people who don't know any better all make the same mistake every single time. And we already know the people who are here know the mistake they're going to make. And so that's why, you know, if you watch people like Elliot Trades or Benjamin Cohen, you know what's probably going to happen for the most part. And you're banking on people who don't know what they're doing being your exit liquidity. And that's where we're at, right? We're just in a market where there's not enough people here. So yeah, you're right. It's just like a complicated explanation of it, but.
No, I agreed 100%. This one.